Hey, this is Byron. Welcome back to Stock Market Talk. And today I want to talk about investing, period, and I want to talk about mutual funds as well. Now, to give you like a definition of mutual fund, it's nothing but a group of people investing in a fund. That's all it is. Now, we're not talking about stock market, we're not talking about day trading, or anything like that. We're talking about mutual fund. Now, you got a bond mutual fund where it's like people invest in bonds. You got a growth mutual fund. That's no problem. You have an international mutual fund. That's funds with like not in the United States. And then you got a world mutual fund, which is everything, United States and everything else. And I have a friend that's going to talk about that. But that's something that's not really my forte, but that's his. I'm pretty much a professional day trader when it comes to the stock market. And I'm pretty excited about this because stock is what I do all day long. Stock is the way to go because your money works for you big time if you're doing it right when it comes to the stock market. But we're going to talk about that later. Right now, we're going to talk about mutual funds. I want my friend to talk to you about that because I got a lot of my friends and family talking about investments. They want to get in either the stock market or mutual funds or cryptocurrency or whatever. And right now, I want to talk about mutual funds. I'm going to let my friend talk to you. And it's a pretty good idea to do. And we're going to talk about index funds and things like that too. Right now, I want to talk about mutual funds. And I'm going to have my friend talk to you right now. Here we go.
Done. So what we teach is to invest in good mutual funds. It's what I have done for 40 years and what Anthony does and what all of us here do. We invest in growth stock type mutual funds. There are four categories and we split it evenly across those, and that's what you need to get in touch with Vanguard and move into those four, or get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros to help you with that. They are not people that work for us, but they're people that we recommend that will do things, and they will teach you, which is really important at your stage of investing for you to start learning, because investing can be a little bit intimidating, can't it?
Oh, for sure. I was looking at my account today, and I was seeing a lot of terms that I didn't really recognize.
Yeah.
As I was looking at it. One that caught my attention was U.S. growth stock with a $3,000 investment minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about going into that one, but I didn't understand it. So
That's good. Don't put money in something you don't understand.
Yeah, and Andrew, I think the key thing here, what Dave is saying, what I want to tell you as a young person too, is that I like the fact that you're saying, "Hey, I don't understand this." Well, it's very important to remember what Dave said. Find a financial advisor. And I'll say this. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of, certain people. I want you to go to one of our SmartVestor pros because they're going to spend time with you and teach you everything you need to know. I'm not going to speak negative about Vanguard, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to give you as much one-on-one training as our SmartVestors will. And it's important for you at your age to really get the knowledge while you're investing your money. And
Yes.
so ask the good questions.
Yeah, the nervousness that you feel with anything new is wisdom. Like the first time you get behind the wheel of a car, you've never driven a car, you're nervous. The first time you do X or Y, ride a bicycle, whatever the metaphor we want to use is. So the fact you don't know what you're doing it makes you nervous. That's wisdom. But that's also says you got some learning, and the more you learn, the more comfortable you are, and it will become like driving a car, where initially you were nervous, but eventually you develop a level of competency, and you learn the terms, and you're very comfortable with them. The good news is if you sit down with a SmartVestor Pro with the heart of a teacher, they're going to teach you. Now let's start with that, where you were a minute ago. Okay, a growth stock mutual fund. Now what a mutual fund is think about anything that's mutual is a group of people. So a mutual fund is a group of people funded a fund. And so you put some money in, I put some money in, Anthony put some money in, right? It's a mutual fund, mutually funded. That's where it comes from, okay? That's a mutual fund.
okay.
Instead of buying a single stock, whatever they invest that money that we mutually funded into tells us what kind of mutual fund it is. And so if they invest that money into bonds, then it's a bond mutual fund. If they invest that money into companies' stock, ownership in that company, and these are companies that are growing, we would call those growth stocks, right? And if it's a mutual fund, it would be a growth stock mutual fund. In your case, it was U.S., which tells us one more thing. Where are all these companies, Andrew?
The grand old United States of America.
There you go, baby. And so if it were an international fund, it would have only funds that are not U.S., companies that are not U.S.
Now that was very valuable information, and I agree with him 100%. Like I said, I'm a professional day trader, but I know how to do funds. And he made a great point about the bond market. It's a bond mutual fund, growth stock mutual fund, international mutual fund, a world mutual fund. He made some great points right there. And I really agree with what he says. Now I want to talk about just pretty much investing, practicing, getting your money allocated so you can make more money in the long run when it comes to investing. I really think investing in the stock market is so much better than putting your money in a bank. The average bank give you an interest of 1% on your money. See, I'm a professional day trader. I make money every minute, every hour, every day, every week. I'm a short-term investor. There's different styles of investing. You got short-term, long-term, dividend investing. You got people that do it for dividend checks. You got people that do it for all kind of cryptocurrency. It goes on and on and on. And I'm very good at this. And I'm trying to help people out towards making money when it comes to investment. Now, with that being said, if you invest in the wrong product, if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to investing, like investing in a company, you can lose so much money. You can. But I've been through those trials and tribulations. I have lost my money when I was young, but now I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm making money for a lot of people right now. So I want to talk about how much the bank interest, how much they give you when you put your money in the bank, how you making money when it comes to the stock market. And I have another friend that's going to talk to you about that, because I agree with these guys and I hear these guys speak and I talk to these guys and they make a lot of sense. And I just want to hear I want you to hear what he have to say. And here he goes.
So you saved up some money and you want it to work for you. You've probably heard of this term called investing, and that's the practice of allocating your money in a way so that it returns more to you in the long run. However, if you are a beginner, it can be really overwhelming. There's tons of terms you've probably never even heard of. For example, bear versus bull markets, ETFs, index funds, limit orders, ticker symbols, the S&P 500, the list goes on. So I'm actually of the firm belief that investing doesn't actually have to be overwhelming. So in this video, we're going to show you why you should be investing, how you're going to be investing, and what to actually invest in. And these are going to be in terms that anybody can understand. We'll also go over some basic beginner strategy and also talk through some frequently asked questions, as well as go through a live example of actually how to invest. So if that sounds good to you, stay a while, listen, grab a drink, and let's get into why you should be investing. All right, plain and simple, the reason why we want to invest is that we want our money to work for us. So if you're actually saving your money right now in a savings account, for example, at a big bank like Chase or Wells Fargo or anything like that, the interest rates that they're paying you on your money is not very high. Typically, a bank like that might offer you 0.01% or even 0.15% on your money. So let's pretend for a second that someone hypothetically gives you $1 million, and you take that $1 million and you put it in Chase Bank in a savings account that yields you about 0.01%. At the end of the year, that $1 million will have earned you $100.
Yes, I agree 100% on what he said. That made a lot of sense. The bank you only get so much money. Like you put $1 million in, you only get 1% on that $1 million. The stock market, you get so much more. And another thing, he brought up a point about knowing the terminologies when it comes to certain stock terms. You have to know that, like ETFs, PE ratio, things like that. You have to know limit orders. You have to know ticker symbols, bull versus bear. He brought up some great points, and I agree with him 100%. Yeah, this guy's he pretty much know what he's talking about. But one thing he's going to bring up, and I think he's going to bring it up, if you're going to begin in the stock market, of course you want to get your online brokerage account, but then you want to, if you want to make some money and be rich in the future, it's like long-term investing. You might want to invest in an index fund. And that's what he's going to talk about too, and describe exactly what an index fund is. It's just accumulation of people all together buying different stocks, and it's a safe. Listen to what I'm saying. It's a safe way of investing. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want nobody to lose any money. And this is something I do all the time. Index funds, all kind of things, cryptocurrency, I do it all. And this, I'm just trying to help you out. So definitely like, subscribe, and share this video. So this video can get to you immediately, because I'm going to make videos about teaching about options trading, swing trading, all that stuff. And I want you to get the knowledge that I have, so you know what you're doing before you buy your first stock. It's very important, because you can lose so much, and it can make you less interested if you start losing money. I'm gonna have you start out making money. Like I said, like, subscribe, and share my video. And please give me your opinion on my videos, and give me comments, because I always answer my comments. If you comment me, I always will answer. If you have any questions, I will answer your questions. But I want you to hear a little bit more of what this guy is talking about. He's pretty good at what he's saying. Here we go.
Your money, so that you're not just leaving money on the table. And honestly, investing is not that difficult, especially if we know what to invest in. So let's actually get into what do we actually invest in. All right, in terms of what to invest in as a beginner, I'm sure many of you have heard of your friends or family buying individual stocks. So maybe your dad or your friend might put $100 into Coca-Cola stock or Tesla stock or something sexy like that. The thing is, though, is that investing in individual companies can take a lot of work. Oftentimes they are more volatile in their returns, and they're definitely like a more active style of investing. Think of like a day trader. A day trader is looking to maximize their returns on a daily basis. So they might be looking at a stock's performance by minute, by hour, and that's something that takes a lot of work, adds a lot of stress into your life, and it's not something that as beginners we want to do. A more passive style of investing will just involve buying all of the stocks in the stock market, kind of forgetting about our investment and just checking it once or twice a year and seeing our money grow over time. And the way that we're going to do that is to invest in what's called an index fund. So an index fund is something that a lot of financial advisors will put their clients into, and basically it's a fund that is well diversified, tracks the stock market, and as long as you invest in them over time consistently, the path to becoming a millionaire is almost guaranteed. So what is an index fund exactly, though? So to understand what an index fund is, we actually need to talk about the fund that preceded it, and that's actually known as a mutual fund. A mutual fund is when many investors will pool their money together. They'll come together. So let's say you have $1 million and I have $1 million. We both give it to a mutual fund manager, and that fund manager's job is to try to give us the best possible return. They might raise more money from a bunch of different people, and by pooling that money together, they then pick a selection of stocks based on their expertise to try to get you the highest return. In exchange for this service, the money manager will charge a really high fee to its investors, because the money manager is doing all the work, and also the money manager has kids to feed and a house to mortgage, or a house mortgage to pay off as well, so they need to get paid a pretty high fee. So a mutual fund has a professional manager involved, but an index fund, on the other hand, is passively managed, and it tracks an entire stock index. A stock index is something like the S&P 500, which tracks all the 500 top companies in the United States. The NASDAQ is another example of an index, and in the UK they have something called the FTSE, so they have the FTSE 100, which tracks the top 100 companies in the United Kingdom. So an index fund would automatically track and invest all those companies in that specific index, so all that we have to do as a beginner investor is buy that index fund. So on the screen right now I have the S&P 500 companies by weight, just to give you an example of what kind of companies are in the S&P 500. We can see that Apple right here is the world's largest valuable company. It has a weighting of 6.14% in the S&P 500. Microsoft is in here, Amazon, Alphabet, Exxon, Visa, Tesla, Home Depot. You get the idea. These are all larger, really, really large companies.
In closing, he made some great points. I had to cut him off there for 1 second about index fund and mutual funds and things like that, and the difference. Now, it's very important to know the difference. They both are the accumulation of people, putting money into a certain index fund is pretty much people just putting money into certain stocks. A mutual fund is a little bit different. Okay, he made some great points about that right there. And about the terminologies. You have to know the terminologies before you buy your first stock. That's very important. He brought some other interesting points too, but I'm not going to reiterate on that. I'm not going to hold you up too much longer. And I just want to thank you for your support and watching my video. I'm going to have some more videos coming out very quick. I'm going to have another video coming out in another couple of days, and I'm going to have a third video coming out on a hot stock that I think is going to make money for you. I got those videos coming up. Like I said, please like, subscribe, and share my videos, because I think this stuff is very important for before you buy your first stock. And like I said, he really said some positive things, and he said it very eloquently the way he talked too, and I hope it got through to you. But like I said, please leave comments and leave me your opinion on these videos and tell me what I need to put out next, because the stock market is the way to go. Like he said, and eventually if you put your money in an index fund, you will, if you continually do it, you will become a millionaire. That's just how it works. And I'm making a lot of money. I got my money in an index fund as well. So with that being said, thank you for your support. Thank you, God Almighty, for giving me the strength to make this video. And thank you, YouTube, for all the supporters that I have. Thank you, and I'll talk to you on my next video. Bye-bye.